today marks a significant anniversary, 11th of November 1918, a day that symbolizes both the end of World War I and Poland's independence. The story of Poland's emergence from 123 years of foreign rule is a tapestry woven with pivotal moments, none more impactful than the actions of Józef Piłsudski. Yet, amid triumph of independence lies in a complex historical debate on the struggle of power reflected in the clash between Piłsudski and Dmowski. And joining us as we unravel the intricate layers of Polish history intertwined with duality of this memorable day is Slawomir Bardski, historian, National Remembrance Institute. Hello, welcome, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to this program.
Thank you for being with us. We both of us heard now the speech of Polish president, and in fact during that speech, now President Andrzej Duda quoted one of the fathers of independence, and Wincenty Witos, who said actually that Poland and free Poland is the cause above all, and which actually comes to mind are different fractions that had sometimes clashing views within Poland, and yet again they joined hands in order to help rebuild Poland and regain independence. So it's quite a unique approach. So could you perhaps comment on that? How did it come to light?
Yes, exactly. The spark of freedom that was alive in Poland during the whole 19th century was something very important, the patriotic education among families. We started to regain our independence actually from the moment when we lost independence at the end of 18th century. This spark of freedom made a little fire during the uprising in 1830, another uprising in January 1863. This consciousness, the remembrance of the Polish fighting for independence brought us to the actual real independence at the end of First World War. Of course, November 11 is a symbolic date because there were discussions which date should be considered as the Independence Day.
Right. Some of them mentioned that it should be the 10th, right?
Right. The 10th was the day when Marshal Piłsudski came back from the German prison from Magdeburg. But a month earlier, on October 7, also the so-called Regency Council announced independence of Poland. Then, 5 days after Piłsudski got back from the prison, he sent a letter to all governments around the world stating that Poland is an independent country and exists back. But wherever a new state pops up, a question arises: where are the borders? Someone has to take a map and draw the borders of a new state. We have the natural borders on the north, which is the Baltic Sea shore. We have natural borders on the south, which are the mountains. But what about the borders on the west and east? So the borders in the west were established by the end of the Versailles Treaty, the peace treaty in Versailles, which ended on January 1920. So there was a long time when Poland, this independence was shaped. Well, the toughest part was the eastern border. We remember that after the Bolsheviks' revolution in 1917, the Bolsheviks wanted to spread the communism all over Europe. They wanted to join the German communists, and Poland was on their way. And they approached Warsaw, and they almost took over Warsaw. But fortunately, again, Józef Piłsudski was the one who led the Polish army to the victory against the Bolshevik during the Battle of Warsaw under Vistula in August 1920. And therefore, the eastern border was established beginning of 1921.
You mentioned one of the fathers of Polish independence, Józef Piłsudski, and the date of 11th of November was meticulously crafted to be associated with Piłsudski. But how does narrative construction impact the understanding of Poland's history, especially considering the nation's ties to independence?
Okay, the Regency Council that I mentioned was a semi-independent government of Poland during the First World War. It was still controlled by the foreign forces, by the partitioners. And the name regency is a time where there is no king. Poland had a king until the end of 18th century. So it reminded that there's still sort of a transition period when we are waiting for the new government, for new authority over Poland. And that's why the Regency Council gave first the military power to Piłsudski, and then after a few days all the power, political power. And new elections has been announced to be held soon.
Right, so also during the speech that we just heard by President of Poland, he also mentioned numerous fathers of independence, Wincenty Witos, he also mentioned Paderewski. So it seems that the struggle for Polish independence involved a battle also between different factions. So how do you think that at least primarily the two of them, on one side we have Piłsudski, on the other side we have Roman Dmowski, how do you think that these ideological battles shaped, let's say, the narrative of Polish independence?
Well, when it comes to independence and unity of Poland, they were able to put aside all the discussions about politics, socialism or nationalism. They were working hand in hand for Poland. Roman Dmowski and Paderewski were the Polish delegates to the conference in Versailles. So they did a very good job to lobby for Poland and to establish the western border of Poland. So they were, I would say, fulfilling each other in this fight for independence. Of course, once Poland became a free country, they started again to discuss about the social system, about the economy. But these are, I would say, minor problems if we are facing independence and unity of the country.
Right, so all of them had bigger picture in mind, and I believe that perhaps this was the way that they paved the way towards the independence of Poland.
Right.
Now, the rivalry between Piłsudski and Dmowski also translated a bit into the public context over Poland's history and its future trajectory. So how do you think that this ideology divided or perhaps reflected the choice of symbols that were used when it comes to the post-independent period?
Well, apparently the symbols were out of question. There was always a white and red flag of Poland and the eagle as a symbol of Poland. So that I wouldn't say that there was a threat because we are talking about internal policy. When it comes to international policy, it's unacceptable to trade parts of Poland if you are Polish. So they were very attached to the Polish integrity. And what they discussed were social military problems, maybe the budget issues, just like today.
And also, I'm really curious about your take on Piłsudski's vision of Poland, because it was deeply rooted in ties to, let's say, military symbolism and a legacy of armed struggle. So how do you see it then later on developing?
Well, Piłsudski wanted to keep the strong army in Poland. That's correct, and he was a Marshal of Poland, so that was his priority. And maybe because he remembered all these fights against the Bolsheviks in 1920, and therefore the army was his priority. That's correct.
And when it comes to now, on the other hand, we have Dmowski's vision. Why do you think that they clashed so much? And well, they could not find a consensus in a way.
Well, Dmowski was very much attached to the nationalism, the idea of nationalism in Poland. He wanted even Poland to grow, to become an empire, to be a big state. Piłsudski was maybe more realistic. He was more focused on social issue, but also defending Poland against others.
And when it comes to also the act of the 5th of November, that was also a pivotal moment in journey for Polish independence, for the journey to Polish independence. So could you elaborate on the significance of that step?
Well, I would rather focus on November 11th. That's the feast. There were discussion exactly which date should we celebrate. And in fact, only for the last 2 years of this 20 years period between the First and Second World War, we celebrated November 11. And what is interesting, we were not allowed to celebrate November 11 after the Second World War. Not until the 1989 when it became again a national holiday, and the only place where we could celebrate patriotism was the church, was the Catholic Church. And I remember we were back in the 70s. We were singing the famous song "God, who were protecting Poland for so many centuries, please return us our free homeland." And in the 90s, we started to sing, "God, Lord, bless free Poland, bless our free homeland."
Well, I believe that it's a beautiful statement to end with, so that our homeland would be blessed. And definitely seeing that it's been 34 years since now Poland once again regained its full independence, and let's hope that it will stay the same way for a longest period of time. Thank you so much. Slawomir Bardski, historian from National Remembrance Institute, was our guest today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And that would be all for now, but do stay tuned for more here on TVP World as we bring you all the latest updates, and still the Independence Day is underway, so make sure to stay tuned.